How to flip foreclosed homes with no money. You don't need to be rich to flip foreclosures. I started with almost nothing, and I'm going to show you how. Think you need cash to flip a foreclosed house? I'm going to show you the 3 ways around that. Flipping foreclosures is one of the best ways to get in that deal cheap, if you know what you're doing. By the end of this video, you're going to learn how to get into foreclosure deals with little or no money out of your pocket. The same strategy we teach our students to do every single week. Okay, so there are foreclosures and there are pre-foreclosures. What's the difference? Look, a pre-foreclosure means that someone has not yet gone into foreclosure default, meaning they are still within 90 days of being in default of their mortgage. That is a pre-foreclosure. This video is not about pre-foreclosure, although you can search our channel and find lots of videos on pre-foreclosure. Pre-foreclosure means the seller still has the say if they want to sell their property or not. Once they start the foreclosure proceedings and they go through that process, the seller still technically has a say, depending on the state, depending on the bank, for quite a while. But at some point, once the bank goes through the foreclosure process, then that becomes an REO, or a real estate owned. So banks have an REO department, meaning that this is the department that owns real estate that has been defaulted on. The payments have not been made on this property. Banks do not want to be in the real estate owning business. As much as you might think, wow, they're making lots of money, they want to foreclose now. If they don't, that's not their business model. They hate REOs. So what do? They have a process where they have an REO agent that they hire, usually 1, 2, or 3, depending on the size of the bank. As soon as that property hits the bank, they will then list that with an REO agent. The REO agent will put it on the market and then get bids and sell the house. How do you win in this deal? Number 1, you first have to go out there and get the person to call you first. So I'm going to talk about that before I talk about money. I'm a very clever guy, and I try and find ways around the normal ways of doing things in life just in general. And I thought for sure I could find a way to buy from the bank directly before they list it with an REO agent, because I figured if I could do that, nobody else would know about the deal. Well, as it turns out, I even met one time with a president of a local bank who was good friends with a good friend of mine, and we talked about it. He said, Glenn, we cannot do that. We have federal regulations that means that we have to list it with an REO agent. I'll tell you who our agents are and you can talk to them. Great. So even though the bank couldn't sell it to me directly, you know what I did? I built relationships with local REO agents, and I said, when you have a deal, could you let me know? And they said, well, we have to list it. I said, could you let me know the night before? They said, I could do that. I said, if you do that, I'll let you have both sides of a listing, meaning that you'll get the buyer's commission and the seller's commission because the bank's going to pay you, and I'll let you have my side of the commission. And they said, okay. I said, but I understand I have to move fast. So here's what you do. If they give you a deal and they say, this is going to be listed tomorrow morning, which is usually how fast it happens, you get to that house, you run your numbers, and you get an offer to the bank before they open at 9 o'clock in the morning. Some banks will accept your offer first thing and stop all bidding after that. I have bought dozens of houses over the years like that, and people say to me, Glenn, how in the world are you winning those bids? I'm not winning the bids. I went out there and built a relationship with the REO agent, and they let me know about the house beforehand. You can do the same exact thing. It's not rocket science to be nice to people. Now, some banks don't care if you're the first one in the door. And honestly, they're the smarter banks. Because the bank that's smart will say, I'm going to put this out here and I'm going to wait 1 week to see how many offers I get. Now, every other vulture in the market gets on it, and then sometimes it's not a great deal because it gets bid up. But if I can make my numbers work and have the bank accept out of the gates, boom, you'll be a massively successful real estate investor if you take my advice and build those relationships with REO agents. The bottom line is that's called a pocket listing. Now, you've heard of pocket listings when someone has a deal they don't want to list on the MLS yet because maybe the house needs work or whatever, and they're working with a regular seller. That means they come to you to buy the deal. It's the same exact thing. You're just doing it with an REO agent with a bank. So build those relationships. Okay, so back to how do you buy foreclosed homes with no money? Look, I'm a big believer in using 100% financing to buy my deals and to fund all my renovations. It's exactly what we teach all of our students to do. I want you to leverage so you're not limited by your assets and your liquidity right now. I want you to work with a hard money lender. You can almost get pre-qualified by giving them a copy of your credit report and the area that you want to invest in. Find out everything that they look for in a deal and in your credit. And understand upfront what they're looking for. Usually a hard money lender is going to come in somewhere around 80% of the purchase price and 80 to 100% of the renovation cost. Now you say to yourself, but how do I get 100% if I'm getting 80% there? I want you to start to build your private lender base with gap funding. Gap funding means the gap between what the hard money lender will lend you and what you actually need to have at closing. Well, that amount could be 10, 20, 30% of the deal. So I want you to follow inside of our channel and learn how to use private money for gap funding. Private money will allow you to have other people loan you small amounts of money to cover that gap. You'll pay them high interest rates, it'll be great. If you do that, and we have a special way that we do it in our trainings, by the way. We are not like everybody else. I'm not telling you to go ask your family and friends for money. You'll see, we do something very different, so check out our channel. You also may have other ways in your means to be able to cover that gap funding. Maybe you have a HELOC, a home equity line of credit. Maybe you could borrow money against a car or an asset or a retirement savings account that you have or a whole life policy that you have. There's probably ways you can borrow money in your world to be able to cover that gap so you have 100% financing. Now, once you have that 100% financing, now when the offer comes up, boom, you can attack. You have the confidence to know that you have that money behind you. So prepare this in advance. I like to say, dig your well before you're thirsty. Be prepared with the money in advance so you can actually not have any money out of your pocket when you're buying these foreclosed homes. Make sure you talk with your attorney about title issues because every area tends to run title a little bit differently. Most of the time, you're supposed to buy that house with a clean title. I have seen some cases where if you buy the house, you also buy it with whatever liens are currently on the property. That can include back taxes, old mortgages, or anything like that. I would stay away from deals like that. But talk to your attorney to make sure that you understand exactly what you're buying during this foreclosure buying process. If you're just getting started and you say, listen, I'm not really comfortable myself taking out that much money or that much risk, I understand. It's not nearly as scary as you think, but you could do what's called a JV or a joint venture partnership. Find someone that does have more of an appetite for that kind of a risk. Maybe you find the deal and do the work and manage the project and they fund it and you split the profit. Again, the only thing holding you back is your resourcefulness to how to get the deal done. So where do you find these foreclosed homes? Well, I told you once how to find them through your REO agent. You can certainly look on the MLS and you can see where you have that. You can filter out your search on Zillow and you can figure out exactly where foreclosed homes are. Sometimes there are counties that still have foreclosure sales actually on the county courthouse steps. Go to your local county courthouse and look for the next foreclosure auction that's coming up. There's also online auctions where banks will use online auctions to sell their property. Now, here is a huge piece you have to understand. The bank always sends somebody to represent them because they want to make sure they get their minimum bid in the deal. Now, here's something funny. You will not probably know who that person is. I remember going back to a foreclosure many years ago and standing at the courthouse steps and somebody was bidding against me. I swear I thought he was a homeless person. The way he was dressed, he looked raggedy, he hadn't showered in a long time, and he was legit bidding against me. And I thought to myself, this guy has money? Like, I don't understand. I'm very confused. We ended up not getting that deal, and he didn't either, but I found out later from other people I talked to, he was the bank representative. It's not a person in a suit, it's a person that blends in the audience that is just there to bid up the house to try and get the bank's minimum. You see, the bank is trying to see how much they can drive it up, and they know if they create some emotion that people will overbid and they can get more money for the house so they can cover their losses. How does it happen online? Same thing. And I remember a house that we bought that I was in a heated negotiation because I wanted it. Matter of fact, I knew who the other buyer was because we recognized the name in the online auction. And they would bid and we would bid. And they would bid and we would bid. These online portals are very clever. They have a method where you can't just wait till the last 5 seconds and then throw your number in, because the minute a new bid goes in, they will re-up the bid for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes to let other offers come in. This goes on for over 2 hours one night where I'm bidding up, and now I'm getting to be out of my comfort zone. I'm over my MAO, my maximum allowable offer, because my emotions have gotten the best of me. So I told my agent who worked for me, I said, stop the bidding, we're done, we're done, we're done. And all of a sudden, lo and behold, within 10 minutes of being done and saying we lost the bid, we got an email saying, congratulations, you won the bid. You know why? I was bidding against the bank. I thought it was someone I knew. It was the bank in there bidding against me. So be careful and don't bid with emotion. Foreclosures can be a great deal, but only if they match your criteria. How do you know what that is? I want you to go watch the next video where I'm going to teach you how to put together what I call your buy box. So you know exactly what you should be buying, so you're not confused by all the noise out there, and you can narrow your search. You know how I know about that? I've been doing this for 25 plus years and over 1,200 deals under my belt, and I've helped thousands of other students over the years be able to buy foreclosed homes by using their buy box. The better you have your buy box defined, the more successful you're going to be. You wonder what a buy box is? Click on the link below in the description, watch the video, I'm going to tell you all about it.